Okay. Delay.
But we heard you, so I was pleased. Okay, oh. What I don't have, I don't think have the membership list on.
Yeah.
That's why I wanna look for.
Yes, he is, calls out.
Yeah. You don't have the membership list, do you?
No, I don't have it, no.
If you could, that would be great, because then I can keep this at the meeting. Very good. Got it. Still call. Oh, okay.
Oh, you went to
The members.
oh, okay.
Okay, let me just get the folder for the meeting. Hey, Peter, we see you're online. Can you hear us?
Yes,
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
All right.
So we're here.
Go for it.
Okay, so we'll call the Conservation Commission meeting to order. Welcome, everybody. This is a hybrid meeting, so we have guests virtual, online, as well as in person. So I see Peter has muted. Thank you, Peter. He knows. And if, when you're ready to speak, please state your name because the meeting is being recorded. And let's take care not to speak over one another and just go in order so that the recording can be clear and the names can be spoken. So with that abbreviated Greek version, Maureen would like to take a roll call.
Okay, Chairman Di Lorenzo,
Present.
Tom Heisler,
Present.
Carl Lewis, as I understand, has to be excused.
Yes,
Rob Ramsey,
present.
Karen Pagliaro, Guy Hoffman,
Present.
and Mary Catherine LaRose asked to be excused.
Okay. We have a guest. A returning guest, Stacy. Hello. Hello. Hi. So we'll get you on first, since we don't like to keep our guests waiting here, so we'll jump the agenda for you.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
My name is Stacy Clark and I am a race director for Run Ragged, Last Person Standing. And it is held in the One Ragged. And it's 1 mile. I sent the paper over and printed out for everyone. But yeah,
Got it right here.
that's our.
Just have to share it on the screen. Give me 1 second.
And it's, flag is in yellow, we also flag it in yellow, so no one gets lost, so people off the rails there. We are holding it May 18th through the 19th, it's they last overnight, and it's a 1 week every hour on the hour, and if they keep going and shoot that hour and get in by the hour, they can start the next hour week again and again. And we have anywhere from 24 hours to, well, no, like 20 hours to 30 hours of time that we've spent out there. And it's been awesome. So we'll have to do it again this year. So I wondered if you could get your permission to do it.
So just to recap, this is where the racers, for lack of a better word, runners, maybe some people end up crawling. Just like you said, they go up and down Ragged Mountain until there's only one person left that can do it.
Yeah.
Sometimes it might take 24 hours. Just for the sake of Peter, if he doesn't, if he's not familiar with it. Anybody else that might be listening? Okay, thank you. Yeah, you've done it before and worked out well. So, and remind us again about how you handle parking and alerting the neighbors and things too.
Yeah,
Since-
so we've made friends with the neighbors directly across the street. They're very nice. Very understanding, we're respectful about them. You get a porta potty Friday night. And it leaves Monday, but we're quiet about setting the door at night or not setting the door. Noises, speakers, nothing like that. I've been in touch with Jim Simmons and Drew Lupe, and they haven't written back yet, but they know about it. And Andy, I've talked about it. or Kensington.
Oh.
He's my point person. He provides the gator and any rescue supplies that we might need. We'll park it all by the gate.
Okay.
Parking will be this year, and it was last year, but I don't think my people did say that.
Your paperwork last year was that you were going to be pursuing getting an offsite.
Yeah, so we, when the lot sold for the grocery store.
Rogers, it
Yeah.
was previously Rogers Market.
Yeah, the new owner would allow us to park there, right, understandably, but we couldn't find another lot, so we asked the police if we could park there, and we had 2 parking monitors, and we asked people to carpool together, and it wasn't an issue.
Really?
Yeah,
That's good. Did you wind around on any of the other roads off of West? or-
no,
No?
we stayed probably within. It wasn't, you didn't have to walk back down any of the hills or out, yeah.
Good. That's good.
Our runners are pretty considerate, they'll park together and leave right away when they're done usually, yeah. A lot of runners come in for the first couple hours. Yeah,
So the other concern that we always have is that, you know, we know you can't leave the trail the way it was with all the foot traffic, I should say, going on it, but if there's any minor repairs or anything that needs to be, do you scope it out beforehand as well?
absolutely, yeah, and we do not let you widen the trail or make anything, leave any trees that we see there before. Litter, you're eliminated, you, go off course, you're eliminated, like we have to, it's flooding still, we don't, you know, like, you can't go around. And stay on the trail, keep it's authentic, and, you know, keep it stopped.
You have a rate date?
Some years have done this. Oh, yes, sir.
What do they do for a bite? Do they go something?
Yeah, at 7 PM, it's mandated, they have to wear, and it's recommended a flashing the things in the back. You have to be on site? No, your one we did, 20, around the clock. But we got, and nothing happened, and they're all really experienced, they wouldn't go into this race if they weren't. So we formed a relationship where we said, all right, let's just keep the supplies and materials here. We have to keep, we're not using it, but, you know, in an emergency, so we want to get there. But yeah, they're right on call. I'm in touch with Andy multiple times throughout the day, each day. So Andy. Oh, yeah, yeah, no, Andy comes in all the time and is always on his phone towers. Yeah.
How many years is this?
So since 2019, and then they didn't have it in 2020, but they've had it every year since, so. Should it be approved, it's prepared to go to town council. They need to approve it as well. And that's, would be on next week, should.
Good.
They get endorsed by conservation.
And do you alert? You've done this too, but it's on a weekend, like to. Like
Put
a
up
week
signs.
before, put up
Right,
signs
yes, they do.
Thanks.
Yep.
for the people that might be
Just to-
planning coming in.
So, but
You do. Anybody else have any questions or?
I move that we, approve the race at Rabbit Mountain because it's part of.
No further discussion? All in favor of the motion? Aye. So moved. I thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. It's exciting.
It's wonderful.
Love to have the use of it and people who enjoy it. Good luck.
Take care now.
Okay. Peter left the meeting.
Kind of wondered about it first year.
I know.
Yeah.
Can't believe it's been 5 years.
Yeah. I can't believe they went all night.
Oh,
I will be there in spirit.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, yeah, I'm good.
That was not, me. Yeah, well, that was somebody.
I'm checking the gate on the bottom, that's it. Okay, so, minutes from last month. Guy, you missed a heck of a meeting.
Oh, yeah, I missed a meeting and you vice chair.
What happens when you're not?
Weren't gonna let that happen.
I move that we approve the minutes. No, the date was February 13th.
I think
It was 20th.
it was the 20th. Yeah, it
yeah.
got moved
Oh.
because of the,
Meeting.
Yeah,
the
this one has
storm.
Okay. Okay, the 20th.
All in favor of accepting the minutes as written? Aye. So moved, thank you. Okay, so the Trails Grant application, is that just a carryover from last month?
It is, but it isn't. So I would like to mention it. So, after the Conservation Commission meeting, the connection or the Trails Grant was discussed at the town council meeting, and then at the following meeting, this revised map was brought to them. Let me share this on the screen. I have to do that. So it had a couple of modifications to the grant, which I can't do two screens at a time, unfortunately. We'll start with the basics in Berlin of the changes, which eliminated this section of road on Spruce Brook being improved with a walking path. Instead, it will be pavement markings and signage along the road. And then the existing two parking spaces that are at the entrance at Stantec Road. There are no improvements, just the two existing spaces to remain and continues to be the entrance, but no further improvements there. Let me get up the other screen. I highlighted the list of other items. Give me 1 second, maybe it's there. See if I have it.
Oh,
Give me 1 second.
What did you say the first one? About the pavement?
The
Yeah.
pavement
Yeah.
markings instead
It said,
of a trail along the road. There'll be signage and probably some sort, might be sharrows or something that says walking, that you're
Oh.
sharing the road. Maybe signage. So the proposal that went to town council, deletion of the walking path along Spruce Brook Road and elimination of the improvements of the existing improvements to the existing 2-car parking space at the trailhead. Items being added are repaving more of the cart paths and parking area on Atkins, a parking area on Atkins Street in Middletown at Pistol Creek, pedestrian signage and or road markings on Spruce Brook Road. So that'll be probably best practice for what works in the area. And some universal design improvements to the paths themselves where we have the paths, and that was discussed, I believe at the meeting, to just make more of the paths more accessible, friendly, where, we don't expect to be able to meet ADA standards for some of them, but they can certainly become as close. They already have grades that would exceed that, so. ADA accessible here in this section. And then all the red paths would have improvements. And this is the part in Middletown. And there's the 14 parking spaces,
So the yellow ones are not doing any improvements on?
right? They're the existing multi-use paths.
That bar yellow on the left.
This one,
That one,
Yeah.
in not good shape.
yeah, I think it's a matter of how extensive the work could be under the monetary availability.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, so that's where the first pass that got done, and this is phase two. I think it's only phase two. But with the anticipation, there'll be phases over time. And clearly Middletown doing a lot of work on that side is substantial. So I wanted to make you aware that went to town council. They're working on the grant application if they haven't already submitted it. Did you me to blow something up? Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Leaning into it. It just does see. That's okay. I understand. Actually, I'm do this when I go to read, so take them off completely.
Right, so. Nice project if it happens. Any other questions? Thank you, Cory.
Yeah.
Yeah, yes, guy.
Before we get going on use of town land, just something that I think we should probably add to the agenda. From now on. Is POCD implementation discussion and update.
I think we had it on last month. We just kind of missed it this month. I'm
So
sorry.
If that would go there, or a separate category, or I don't know how you.
Yeah, well.
I think it should be separate. And, I would do it after the application. Personally, so that we make sure we get the comments to planning and zoning commission, and it'll only really be. Probably a substantial topic every 3 months.
Yeah.
Because the committee meets every 3 months.
That's of course.
They're working on a project.
Right.
We're working on, on accomplishing something.
You ready once? What? Twice? Oh. Great. Okay, so we can get an update, after we review the plans. Okay, how's that?
I guess the plans are gonna be a reasonably simple set of plans for you to,
If we-
review. I do want to mention a couple others that, didn't get on the list. I'm not sure.
So we have to add them.
We might, I want to go run to my office for 1 minute and check the number on one, because I think I have the number wrong. I
All right,
can't think of what
542.
that is.
Berlin Turnpike.
So let me combine 1 and 2.
Okay.
This is a, Nicholas Marazio of Colliers International, 3-part, two-part, application, another 830G application it's at 554 Berlin Turnpike. So, it's a 3-part application. It is, third part's not listed. It's the, property that encompasses ABC and the lot behind it, ABC Supply and the lot behind it. They put in a proposal last year. And, it ended up being denied last year for, a Berlin Turnpike Development Zone mixed use project. It was denied using ABC as their commercial, section. And the property just to the north of that, where they typically, you might recall, have the annual fireworks sale on the property just to the north. And then the property to the rear that backs up to Sportsman's Pond behind ABC. So they had a mixed use project going. It was denied. They've just recently applied for a 830G affordable housing project. So the portion of their application that is titled 550 Berlin Turnpike is for entrance and parking improvements that are basically affiliated with the ABC site itself, changes to that in order to create the drive for the multifamily that is proposed behind it. So now this is a multifamily development. They're just severed. They were combined as one before project, mixed use project. Now instead, it's the site improvements and then the multifamily. It's,
It's all in line with the other two.
so it's
Like
basically,
developments that are
yeah,
going
it would go down, it's the third one to the south, or the next one
Everybody
down.
we're talking
But this is an affordable housing project, so when someone applies under the 830G regulations, their statute, zoning criteria is basically not the priority, it's the ability to provide affordable housing. So this project is for a 9-story, I believe, 8 or 9-story, and I'm sorry, we've just been back and forth with it so many times, my head is backwards. 2 buildings, it was 3 buildings previously, now it'll be 2 buildings, and again, we can just open one of the plans and I can share it with you all.
Is it 100%? Affordable housing, or is it?
No, it would be at 30%. Have to look, actually, want to make sure 30, not 20. It's just, you know what, now I'm bleeding, so if somebody else would open that would probably be a good thing. I'm sure I have one in my office. I just got like caught on the,
So,
I got caught on the staple. So if you flip to, I think, page, 2 to S1, yeah, is probably your best bet. You might want to throw it down a little further on the table. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
what's not there?
That's a pretty good slice too, bigger than I usually get. You don't have to put that in there. Wayne cut out her thing.
So it is set back
Yeah.
for ABC.
So if you see up here, you have the Berlin Turnpike.
Right,
The other
trying
side,
to-
the driveway has to come down and then there'd be 2 buildings with, does it say 79 units each? 70? I can't read the front of the building.
Where is he again?
So ABC Supply, just north of Woodlawn.
Huge retaining wall that they built around the water control pump house there.
Okay.
Just south, the next
Yeah.
property.
It has the trailer, the, sign here, and it's,
I don't,
I
does
believe
it?
it's gone,
Where
because
the
I
old-
just looked
The
online.
old house that, would used to be something there too. The water,
There used to be a red
Yeah.
building.
that one.
There used to be a red building there.
Yeah, I wouldn't
Yeah.
call it a building, but yeah,
Yeah.
little house that
Yeah.
they dog grooming or something.
Okay, yeah,
So,
that's with Pizzazz.
Woodlawn.
That was the dog grooming place, yeah.
This is
So-
the area that
That
we're
would've been
looking
around
at
here.
for whether we wanted it for
Yeah, the open
open
space connection.
space and trying to put
Okay.
official,
So if you look at the screen, if you look up here at the screen, you have Woodlawn. Woodlawn's here and we're with the north side of Worthington Ridge and up to Weathersfield Road. That intersection is here. This is this lot just to the north of it. It includes this that had the red building on it. This is ABC Supply. And this is the parcel here. This is Sportsman Pond where we did the study last year about trails.
Yep.
And the proposal does include, I don't actually. Does still include, I believe. Walking trail.
up there.
Yeah, no, well, that would be to get up to the turnpike, but it's, oh, that's a dog area.
The Carl Lewis dog walking area.
So again, a year ago, you did make comments on that. So 9-story apartment building,
That's huge.
2 9-story buildings. Again, you have the architecture, but we have it.
239. Yeah, 2 buildings and 79.
Yes,
Will that be the tallest building in front?
I believe so.
Right behind us. That's great.
You know what?
Well, it's not, I mean, it's a commercial use. The ABC is a commercial, considered.
That's gonna be the only access?
So the access would be a change to the driveway from the Berlin Turnpike down. There, right now, you can see there, that kind of V there is where the existing driveway is and goes straight across the new parking lot. And so they'd be moving it to the south a bit, to the north a bit, realigning it, so ABC has their parking where the driveway is now, basically, and a new drive would come down to then allow you into ABC and get you down to the back.
So this
The-
is going away, this would be it.
The driveway is, but the parking lot would then be there.
Right.
What's in the dark pen. You did see last year when, you reviewed the BTD project that they proposed. You did see this realignment. Wetlands has reviewed it on several occasions because this is where the river is coming down along the property to the north, along the north side. And you can see that here, right here on if you look on the screen,
And there's not gonna be a light here?
no light is proposed. So all traffic would be, southbound in, southbound out. Any northbound would have to go down to the intersection at, Woodlawn, yeah, and Worthington Ridge and make a U-turn. Again, I would like to actually look, I haven't gotten to these plans yet. To see if the walking trails are still on there, because that was, for their previous plan is walking trails through the area to the rear that have the potential for eventual connection into Sportsman Pond if it's ever improved.
So we can that in the other proposal. Study.
What?
It's too wet. So we're gonna be bad. We're gonna have to tolerate it. Walking trail, I think you should bring them soon. I'm not a zoning. Open to the public, or is it,
Yeah, the
I don't see any.
old proposal would have, yeah, they were down here. And again, we might have to change to a different sheet,
Yeah,
and I'm sorry.
but they're doing
With
the
your
same
meetings
thing
at
as,
the beginning of the month, it always ends up with me a little.
they're doing the same thing as last time. Except probably even closer to all the wetlands, but and then the existing ponds, you know, they're going up against all of them. Because there's really no space for it.
Yeah,
What-
because
what
this
they're
was
doing.
around,
There
the,
should be incentives where you
trail
grow, not-
through, so they would walk in and have some ability to walk around
So I didn't know anything.
the back. And then it had a dedication, I think it had a denied plan. Might have had some parking, but I'm not sure.
is this bona fide now, the plan?
This is the application that's been submitted.
Okay, so. it's
So
gone,
it went through wetlands already,
And they said, oh, it's okay.
yes. It's substantially the same footprint as the plan.
Why would they? not?
They approved, so they didn't have much to say about it, because they had previously reviewed the plan that has those
Well, like I
buildings. So the
said-
old plan had 2 lower buildings, building 1 and building 2 being this is shorter, and then another building than this proposal, and another building at the end of that parking lot a little different, all the way on the south end of the site.
Do you know what they have planned in the proposed flood mitigation area?
I think you could see it on, there should be a plan sheet that talks about it, if it's not clearly talked about there.
Flood mitigation, but-
No, I think it's a offset area, right? Wasn't that be what flood mitigation would be, so. Mitigation plan, flood storage is sheet M1. Jump to M1.
Because on the project, on the other side of the.
And
it was
M2.
Decided that they'd be better off not to mess with the stream bank and not do the mitigation out there. They had a study done that suggested that they don't mess with it, which is essentially like right over here. So I don't know. If that's a great idea. It's an area that floods. It's gonna flood no matter what, whether they have a mitigation area or don't. And if they're gonna mess around with the solid,
They'll be gone.
stream bank for a mitigation, and then when it floods, it's.
That's why it's 9 stories, no one will live in the first 2.
You said.
M2 and 3, I believe it's that, or M1 and 2, I'm sorry. M1 and M2 are labeled as, no, this is pending, this is a pending application that came in, so these are your comments.
So it's basically can't be nine, right?
Planning and zoning, makes, they're two different charges.
Yeah.
Wetlands has one set of
Yeah.
charges, and planning and zoning has a different
Right.
set of charges. So the previous plan, the Planning and Zoning Commission ended up denying the application when, after wetlands had approved it, and that happens. And
Yeah, but this time, can they? Because you said it wasn't like that multi-use.
but there are considerations for for any housing development, any development. Still gets scrutinized for its health, safety,
Okay.
other issues that are, of a concern to the town, and,
Well,
the commission continues to make, do the same thorough analysis and take into consideration the concerns or attributes of a project.
They're 2-bedroom units.
Mostly one bedroom, there's 39, so in building one, I think actually they're the same exact thing, so 39 one bedroom, 42 bedroom, for a total of 79 in each building.
what about like the traffic?
So there would be a traffic, information provided as well. Once you hit 100 parking spaces and or a certain number of units and or a certain size of building, we have criteria that get.
So, did you say wetlands already approved this plan?
Yeah,
state road.
a year ago, I think.
But it's a different plan.
No, they approved the BTD plan that was proposed and denied by Planning and Zoning Commission. And then the applicant went back with this 9-story plan to wetlands, and that was approved. But that was approved some time ago. It was almost a
say.
year. We've been
Thought-
waiting for this plan to come in for a long time to Planning and Zoning Commission,
So
or
zoning
anticipating it.
or wetlands was able to approve a plan a year before it was submitted?
To P and Z, they submitted to planning and zone, they submitted to wetlands, you can submit, yeah, you don't have to submit simultaneously. You have to submit to wetlands before or at the same time you submit to Planning and Zoning Commission, you can't submit to Planning and Zoning Commission first. But you can't, but planning and zoning can delay their decision until wetlands provides
In case they modify.
their decision.
Right. They might ask to modify.
For that part, where we start looking at it, that absolutely makes sense to me. We're talking about adding loam and stuff to that area. That area floods. It goes up over, it goes up to the bridge. You know, every year. That stuff is not gonna stay there.
Go into the river.
Right, yeah. Same kind of stuff that they, with the project that's now going on the other side of the river.
Yeah, the north.
And like I said, they decided with a study to not have some kind of mitigation area because they thought that it made less sense than just keeping an existing, you know, growth in there to try to keep the stream bank stable. You know, in the same thing here, they're right up against the wetland area. It said that they're staying out of all of them, but that area is just wet.
It's all wet.
And, unless it's marked on another one, I think that one day, I didn't see any in the trail.
I'm thinking they're gone from this plan.
Mhm.
I didn't notice them either. Again, I haven't done the zoning comparison to the, you know,
It'd be hard pressed.
it should be on this plan. It should be on C1-2.
Landscaping.
Yeah, I would think it should be on the landscaping plan.
But then again, private property. And it's wet back there. I don't know why.
Hold on one second. I want to check our speakers again because it looks as though it said it changed my speaker. So let's give me 1 second to test. And is someone on that end test?
That's,
That's,
Thank you. It just, I got a pop-up that your microphone has now changed and I was afraid it was doing something funky. But if I test it, it picks up me on here or there, but you're not facing my microphone on my computer. Did you find the landscape plan? If I see one too? That's what I would think it would be, and I don't think it would have been, yeah, it would be down. Like, where are we? Oh, so then the next plan. This is part of it. It's a match line to the next sheet. So that's up near the turnpike. And so it had
Yep.
walking, like, what's that double line there? What's that call out say, right? Side,
Sidewalk, sidewalk review.
what's that say?
a driveway.
Guided reinforced sidewalk section at
Okay, and what's the one below it say?
proposed 9-foot wide gravel access driveway and 50-foot upland review area.
Okay, so those are driveways not walking past, but that's substantially one of the areas they had been previously. And what's the one furthest to the
This
right, all the way over? All the way, keep going 2 more, there you go, it's that,
proposed water quality swale and proposed tree line.
yeah, so they,
so they,
so. There was access that created an outdoor area for residents and potentially for, linkage if a sportsman's pond, trail was the ability to have that.
This is kind of like a dog park place, dog park.
Mhm.
It is parking.
Yeah, but
Or they'll assign you one here, one
when
here.
they're,
On the way.
Looking
And,
surprised.
and these are all condos now?
Apartments, apartments, rentals.
Okay.
So I've noted concern with the flood area. Um, loam not being stable, was that correct? Or, in that area?
Well, the development's right up against the right.
Yeah.
Lack of walking trails.
Buffer
That's,
zone.
I mean, that's,
Uh,
I mean, that's fine. I
And,
don't think that we have to promote that they should put them in.
No.
Because we looked at that property, the town property, and that's pretty marginal as far as
That's right.
trying to do anything with it. So if they don't want access, we haven't planned for access to the border, then
Same thing.
so you don't want to make that comment?
No.
Okay,
Didn't really excite us on the last.
no,
part.
on no, nothing on lack of walking trail.
Yeah,
The other ones are.
no comment.
okay.
And
I
know until we get to
misremembered
that 10% that, you know, we really have our hands tied.
I'm afraid of this eight.
This-
It's nothing.
Yeah, and if people actually constructed at COs for ones that are already approved, we'd be all set.
Doesn't count.
Like the other big apartments that, you know, on the property next to it and the property next to that one.
Well, the one north at the car dealership, the one where the two newer commercial buildings are, that doesn't have any affordable units in it. That was approved without affordable
It
units.
looks like it's stalled though.
It's stalled, but it's not stopped. We're hearing they're gonna continue work. It's just been winter
That's the other thing.
and
So
other
new
things.
House slash apartment that's built raises that threshold again.
Right.
Boy,
We did just get counted the, all 88 units at the one on the east side of Deming Road, just beyond Eversource.
Mhm.
So those 88 were, CO'd right at the end of last year, right?
Are they? I mean, they're really nice.
Yeah,
They're nice.
they are, they're well done. Yeah, that's, how many affordable?
yeah, with the definition of affordable, it's still.
It's a certain percentage of them, but they get to count all 88 because they meet I think it's 30% of them. And then it's how many are at 80% of the median income and how many are, offered at 60% of the median income. And so that is, what's called a workforce housing development. So those units are in,
Just one other thing, because somebody mentioned it, I'm just going back to it. I always thought you had to have for properties on like a road, like a turnpike, two ways of accessing.
they had
I think they have their gravel.
an area they can go up where the utility access is. They,
That gravel
I
site.
believe it's, north,
All I saw was the driveway.
I
from-
could be wrong,
So
and we'll double check that as well.
But-
State road.
but,
Yeah, health and
a lot of
safety.
places around that People try to do things and go like, well, we used to have access and stuff that I didn't see it.
It's an abandoned driveway. It's not called an emergency driveway. It may be the size of it. It has been routed to the police and fire marshal.
Yeah.
So,
Talking about a lot of people.
Oh, that's what I thought when I looked at it. It looked like
And,
they don't like.
and to get out,
Right, no life left.
all of the traffic. It's gotta go the same way out through
Yeah.
this the same driveway.
Developments when they're finished. just roll it, so.
Yeah. What's going on with there's a lawsuit going on now with the proposal that was on the Berlin Turnpike. Did that come before us? It was like those small little,
Yeah.
You saw it a long
Yeah.
time ago.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's.
So I really
that's-
can't make much comments on it. There was, so the one at 1676 Berlin Turnpike was noticed, so that's right down close to Meadow Lane. It was old motel site. That had a public posting, a couple of months ago for the settlement agreements. And that's going to court. That's actually being noticed for the court hearing for the court to accept the settlement plan that was then devised with the commission and the applicant.
Maureen, on this, you had text amendment and then the. site-
So
what's the-
when you have an 830G application, part of the statute, recommends that they also come in with a text amendment that legitimizes it to meet zoning. In this instance, like it's a specific text amendment for the specific proposal is what it is. So
Okay, I was gonna say,
they
I thought
bring that
they-
in
I thought-
with it, and that then makes it a compliant plan, even though it's not compliant in
Project
general.
Okay.
It's a project-specific
Because
text
I thought
amendment.
That
They could
text
be-
amendments couldn't be site specific. They had
In
to
this in-
hide it
in-
and
Unless
one
it's
property,
830G.
In this instance, they can be, and now that we have things like overlays and development zones, we have that workability with text amendments or with developments being site-specific.
So the
Again,
Text amendment doesn't say like properties, you know. with
it
greater
should,
than 4
so
acres.
we'll be going
Yeah.
through it with as thoroughly as possible,
To-
but it would.
9 stories high.
Right. so the
But
text-
that's
the
basically what it
text
would
based
say
property
on this
like,
lot.
right,
It would be
it's-
specific. We'll make our recommendations with regard to it when staff and corporation councils goes through it, would not want it to apply to multiple other parcels without a development plan that showed the
This is
complete
one for the one
compliance.
Project work for the two, the one.
So those were
our dealership.
BTD, yeah, that
Yeah.
was that's kind of a floating zone that we had a map when the BTD regulations were proposed. We had New England Geo draw a map for all the parcels that are currently configured such that it would
Yeah.
be feasible. There could probably have been other parcels. I wasn't charged with talking to New England Geo as to what their charge was, but it could have, there could have been parcels possibly compiled together under different ownerships and stuff, or with where you had to have to raise the entire project to make it work, or whatever's there to make it work, but those, we want, like, even with the downtown, we have the TOD project that, can sit there because it can fit in locations within town.
Cause I was curious, but then you have other projects like what we've seen near like the bowling alley. Spruce Road, they were looking to put 3 properties together.
And that's the other litigation I think she's speaking of.
That then would they fall under this and you could have 8, 9 story apartments there too.
So they did make an 830G application for that property as well
Mhm.
last year. And now it's under litigation.
I'm gonna combine these two. so it's not-
Okay. And 554, which is the parking and drives. There were actually 3 applications.
Oh. 552 and 553?
550 and 522, I think. 550 5. Hold on, I can do this. By looking at the GIS and getting the correct. 554 Berlin Turnpike. Yep. And 522 Berlin Turnpike. So the parking and drives was up near the turnpike was related to the 554. And then the rear lot and going around to where the red building was with frontage on the turnpike is 522. This was what it looked like once upon a time, probably in the early 2000s. That's probably a picture from 2000.
All right, thanks. Before you, is there something else, or you want to do the call wash thing, or?
And
Yeah, see them.
so I thought we discussed this. I really did. This is, yeah, right, that's the car wash, isn't it? Yeah, that one. So this property right here, they've come in with a plan, or rather with a, application for site plan improvements and, special permit use for, the car wash to also have an automobile sales use at it. They'll be reconfiguring some of the parking and drives and adding more parking here. We've asked for additional plans that show the drainage. And yes, I'm sorry, 86 Woodlawn. And so the existing, I think if we come around here, 1 second. You drive in, you could drive around the building and into the car wash. They want, inventory storage up through here, so they'll be removing some of the, pervious surface. And they'll be installing some pervious surface back here, adding some parking. And just some reconfiguration. Again, the plan they submitted didn't have adequate information, so I can grab it easily. But we're asking for additional information. That new plan hasn't come in yet. And that includes drainage, but it may be on an agenda before your meetings continue, or before your next meeting.
It's already developed, it's already backing up against the water company. What are you gonna do?
Yeah.
Planning and
Is that a
zoning.
new owner to that?
No, I don't believe so. He wants to keep running
I thought
the
it was a
car
big- I
wash.
thought It was a big thing.
Yeah, he did.
It's like,
Oh.
no.
So no, he said he enjoys his car wash business. He is looking to do more. So down here, if you go south of the Route 9 interchange, as you go down, you might remember this is the SPDD 2 zone with a BT2 underlying zone. Some of these parcels have recently been rezoned to have BT1 as their underlying zone. This is what's called Hilltop. Previously referred to as the Golden Triangle. Yes.
What is it?
So, zone change application, zone map,
Change application?
yeah.
What's the address?
Wait a minute, it's 3 parcels, one, yeah. It's 1251 Berlin Turnpike, which is, you guys might recognize as the yellow building that was the candy factory or something. The parcel next to it, which is 115 Middletown Road, and the property just to the south of that, which is 1309 Berlin Turnpike at the corner of Middletown Road and the Berlin Turnpike. So there's 3 parcels there. And they're looking to rezone those to BT1 as well. So the BT1 uses, have a larger number of allowed uses than, the SPDD and certainly they're commercial instead of R15, which is what this lot here is. And then this lot, these 2 are both R15, although this one has the SPDD overlay on it. Again, it's not a development proposal. It is for a zone change to allow a different number of uses and more options. It does not have, there's no development plan that goes with it, so I'm not sure this commission,
So it's which?
so I'm sorry, let me try to do better.
Yeah, it's the,
So the house with the columns with a long drive, it has a
Yeah.
longer driveway.
Yeah.
And columns.
right.
That one. The house here on the south side of Middletown Road that, as I understand, has been it's a non-conforming office space. It may have apartments in it as well, I'm not sure, or an apartment upstairs, but it was certainly an accountant's office or something similar. I thought I had been told it was an engineer's office at one time, but then somebody said, no, that was a different house, so we have to do some searching to find that out. And so this is Middletown Road, here's the traffic light.
Yep.
So that one, this one, and this one.
And, but isn't that? they're not-
Multiple
they're-
small businesses in there, yes.
They're not all the same zoning now, so what does
Right.
it change to?
BT1,
Which is.
so
where-
Berlin Turnpike
where-
1,
Where else in that area?
to the south. Hold on. So we zoom it out as you go down the Berlin Turnpike. The stretch with, Pine Loft, right?
Yeah.
That's in there. The old, it
Mhm.
was USA Baby and something else at one point. That's in that stretch, I believe. This is the, right, it was the Union or Painters, right? Painters at one time. And on this side, we have, the Barber, MC Barber, and that strip there. Those are
Yep.
BT1, so they're more of a, general business. BT1 is more of general business. BT2 has more restrictions when you do, although none of these have, there was across
Yeah.
the street, sorry. Up here is BT2. Except some of them have the underlying BT2 has now changed to BT1.
I mean, my only comment is that I wish that the town would be more careful with what they allow for BT1. Because you have a parcel there, but you have on the Berlin Turnpike that wants that to have a BT1, which is a bad precedent to set for other parts of along the Berlin Turnpike. That are places that are residents now.
Right. Well, it says it's a single family.
Right,
home,
right.
And then R15 must be residents, correct?
Yeah,
They have no frontage
residential.
On the Berlin Turnpike.
Well, that individual parcel doesn't.
Right.
It's all free or changed.
They still have no frontage.
So that would probably.
Which would mean that the next parcel up could look to.
Ask for the same thing.
At the
Yeah.
same thing, and
Down the line.
Yep.
And then 40, are you caught up?
Yeah.
And then I'd like you to add 44 Rendeckers for a 2-lot subdivision. Mhm.
40 lots.
2 lot,
Oh,
2 lot, 2 lot.
40.
what was it?
44 Randecker or Zero
Yeah.
Club Drive.
What
So-
is it?
It's a 2-lot subdivision. So if you go up Lincoln Street, everyone knows Shuttle Meadow Country Club's entrance is right here. Across the street, you have the corner of Brandeckers and Club Drive. This lot here was 44 Randeckers. It was transferred, a portion of the lot was transferred to this owner in order to create, to have this be buildable. Yeah, they needed to come in for subdivision approval. So that's what they're working on, the high tension wires, the electrical transmission lines, to be precise with the correct terminology in 2024. Go through the lot. They keep a portion of the lot, 50 feet of it, I believe, from being developed. So the house would have to be situated on the southerly side of the new lot that they're proposing.
Site plan amendment?
No, it's 2-lot subdivision. This is the entrance to Shuttle Meadow Country Club, right here. And then this lot divided roughly here and going like that to create a house here that just doesn't, which, many of the lots have are to the width of the transmission lines, which I believe there is 100 feet. Yeah. So it's 100-foot width, so 50 of it is on this lot. Again, it's substantially a lawn at this point. It's under this transmission lines. I don't know, otherwise area of subdivision, I don't know what the Conservation Commission may have for feedback, but you may, and you may know things I don't know. That's why we come here. No, it's not why we come here, but it's, we learn a lot of things. I'm not-
The brain cancer thing aside. I
Yeah,
don't see a
yeah,
problem.
I mean.
Yeah, with the electrical thing.
Going over other people's houses and properties. Yeah.
They actually had submitted a subdivision application last year that didn't meet the requirements for one of the zoning requirements. However, there was an amendment to that provision in the regulations, not proposed by this applicant, but proposed by someone else regarding building square. And so now we can meet the regulations from that standpoint. So now we can come back.
So that they can have the smaller lot sizes there, and the other one both seem to be bigger than one. And what, either one of those two are gonna be when we slide it up.
Yeah, it is the zone that allows for it, though. I think it's always said.
What are they granting to the utility easement or?
The utility easement exists. It's there. It's set in stone.
So they're just proposing to move the building up. In a sense.
Well, to put a second house within
Mhm.
what would be allowed. It is a larger lot than several in the block. Like not completely double the size, but then the zone line, I think, was here, so these lots are gonna be bigger, because
Yeah.
that's a different zone line. Then there's one, if you don't bear with me for a second, because I think I wrote down the wrong number. But I think that's it.
So what about that? What is this?
Yeah,
So-
my wife would always say that. Anybody live in the power line? I go, there's a flat house. You don't know where they're from. It's a step up and. Watch those things go up.
This one, there is one more, it's 855 Berlin Turnpike. So it was at one time, it's the north, just on the north side of Route 9 and Mill Street. And, it was Art Rich, I believe, Studios, and then became a home healthcare. business. And now we have a home improvement showroom that's moved in. They want to add a storage building, but we do understand that they are going to be coming in with a change of plans as well. So it's, I think it might be futile to look at it right now because they are coming in with a change of plans. Or that's what they've reported. This is a pending application, the way it stands, however. It's for 40 by 760, I believe, storage building. They've taken down a 40 by 70 storage building. We understand they may be coming back with a smaller building in a different location. And have taken down a considerable number of the trees that are on the lot. You know, they've done a lot of clearing on the lot. We really don't have a lot to control when someone clears. Planning and Zoning Commission, of course, has authority on commercial properties to require some screening and buffering, but not if somebody is choosing to take down their trees.
We'll come back with a real plan and we can look at it.
If it's before you meet again. Just pop to it real quick so you can see it if you want. So we have the ramp, and when you come down the ramp from Mill Street, you pretty much have to quick pull in the driveway. The building's proposed to be in this area here. And like I said, they've already cleared a substantial number, like this shed that exists on the property is clearly visible now. And you can barely see it in this canopy view. Again, they'll be creating the proposal shows millings and an expansion of driveway to get to it, et cetera. However, we don't have drainage information or exact areas of those improvements. So I'm sorry, I don't have anything more I can provide to you to create comments.
No comment.
So that would be no comment.
That's it, Maureen, for plans?
Yeah.
Thank you.
I hope so.
I hope-
And no comment on Club Drive, right?
No comment. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you. All right, guys, want to throw something on your PLCD?
Yeah,
Great.
did everybody? I assume everybody got their things, from Maureen. That,
I did send them, but it was it was before the last meeting. I'm sorry, it totally slipped my mind to resend them.
are you hooked up to your account right now?
I'm getting there in a second.
That'd be great.
Why are we not on the screen? What happened to the Zoom screen?
Recording.
Nobody did.
Okay, so well, hopefully all that screen share was up there in the recording, because that was a lot of screen sharing we just did. So give me 1 second. You have the email from you and bring those up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I had them in the,
Just as a where we are, we've had 2 meetings. The idea is for each of the commissions and, departments in the town to try to see what they can do to make progress on what's outlined in the plan of conservation development. We have a bunch of things that we are identified as either the lead entity or a partner. And so there's like 32 different things that were listed on.
That were assigned to us, you mean?
Yes, that were listed.
That's
Yeah,
how-
and with a priority level, the number of them are high priority. thing I'd like to get some feedback on. Our next meeting is in April, the last Thursday in April. But, I don't necessarily agree with what's been assigned to us.
Mhm.
So I'd like some feedback on that. And,
Okay.
and some of them, I don't think we should be the lead on. And some of those are, have to do with, you know, partnering or negotiating, talking to other towns, trying to get projects done where we don't control that.
Yeah.
So I think that, if we could at least, I don't think we have to make a firm decision, but on all of these. I'm not gonna try to take a lot of time, but I think for several of these meetings, I think, you know, if we have like 10 minutes or something like that, we could spend on this to try to, and then you guys can look at things, on your own.
I'm going to do a page or two.
Um, the,
So do you have a
The-
preference as to which ones
the,
I open?
first one is
I'm on.
118, which is the, environmental resource. I don't know if it's,
Do you have, you know what?
Page 118, is that what you said?
yeah.
Yeah, you're on 132.
Yeah.
That
I-
looks like the last of them.
Yeah, that's Park and Recs anyway.
Yeah.
So you probably loaded, maybe you loaded this one first.
That-
That's 118. Okay. They're not labeled, so I have to open them
Yeah.
separately and figure it out.
So. A lot of these are for protection and acquisition of open space and improved linkages between existing open space property. They have us for those first 5 as the, partnering. And, I think on number 6, we should also be a partner rather than the lead. Prioritize linkage of existing protected open space properties, foster improved inter-town connection.
Except there's the.
And review open space areas that do not have conservation easements and recommend additional protection for all or parts of these properties.
So if I may, I think
Yeah.
you're the lead because the commission, the Conservation Commission has more knowledge.
Mhm.
Particularly like look at the review the open space areas and, you know, recommend additional protections. I think that lines up
Yeah,
fairly closely with your education program to add the signage, to do things, add improvements, make recommendations to town council or to your staff, Jim, myself, and we work towards getting things done. I think that's where, you know, that puts it as a priority. That's something the Conservation Commission is more daily involved with than all the types of things that the town council has to look at. So, you know, obviously the acquiring the open space, usually, you know, obviously that goes through town council, but it usually does start with your staff and your recommendation to get the item onto the town council agenda. And I think that's where you're the lead in the partnership and or the second in charge comes from.
yeah.
So Guy, which one of these do you not think we should?
I was thinking that number 6, I'm not,
6.
I had a question on that, but for the most part, these are things that are all gonna be high. Those are the only 2 that were really the lead on. Or 6
Yeah.
and 7, which, you know, we could probably live with that. We
Yeah.
do need to have something listed because the, existing open space property with foster connections and so, I mean, there's always gonna be the town staff that we're gonna need to be able to produce
Always.
the, the
Right.
maps and information that we're gonna need. So there's probably should be, the partner should be identified for number 6.
So I
Which is-
think the staff
Just-
is generally not, we
Yeah.
haven't been, there's very few sections where staff is identified, because we work with the commissions regardless. There's
Yeah.
some things that are public works that, they're not
Yeah,
really something that a commission oversees, but that's how it was formulated.
Okay.
Why can't they be in both boxes there? Put 6 and 7.
I mean, we need to have somebody be able to.
Well, we do, I mean, Maureen.
Yeah.
It technically helps us.
Yeah, yeah.
But we're not gonna put down P and Z there.
No. All right.
I could point out, we
and
could have a
not that they-
discussion, staff wise, we can have a discussion about the concern with regard to production and availability of partnerships, so that I could perhaps get something more identifiable to you.
Yeah.
Either that or move us over to the box and
Yeah.
then put town manager there, and town manager would
Yeah.
assign somebody
Yeah.
technically. For now.
But.
Again, I think it is that it comes,
But it's always,
Well, even,
So-
even to tee it up is an agenda item for us.
right,
And I didn't have a problem with them being a high priority. in there, so,
again, some of these do realign themselves with where and how they become an agenda item as we find that, oh, there's a grant available for this.
Yeah.
Let's,
Yeah.
oh, we can pull
Yeah.
that off of here and therefore work on that item because we have knowledge of grant availability that can help expedite one of them and prioritize them in that way as well, because obviously you can't possibly hit all the high priorities first.
No. no.
You have
so-
to hit them one at a time, and unfortunately, well, fortunately, unfortunately, fortunately for the town, unfortunately for the membership of the Conservation Commission, a number of the items are high priority that the Conservation Commission has, but that is a reflection of the importance that was discovered in conservation through the plan and conservation development process. The public input, the input from the other commissions, the input from this commission, the input, that conservation is a high priority.
Are you gonna be
And that's
sending
where it
us
ended up.
copies?
Yeah, you.
So I thought I did.
she sent out-
I
Maureen sent
I
out
had
email.
forwarded it all. It probably was right.
You
It
should- everybody
was
should have-
before, probably before the last meeting.
Yeah.
But if not, we
Should
can
we send
send
it
them
this
again.
week?
Yep.
Yeah. So I did that and copied them so that so you had the highlighted one, so that we knew where to look.
Okay.
If we could go to 119.
We'll try.
Yeah,
That,
and
I have to
probably
just,
The second one I put in.
let's see if it's. Didn't click fast enough. 122. I'm sorry if it didn't, and there is always the possibility with this number of attachments that it decided not to go.
We could just send that one.
I have it. I can send it to everybody.
That was.
119, this is it.
So I thought that just something for, on strategy for continue the oversight and protection of environmentally sensitive areas. And I think number one, even though there's nothing listed on there ends up being like the key high priority for the Conservation Commission.
Or
And
as a partner, Obviously, it's town council, but
Right, but I mean,
They vote on it. It's
we need the assign a town staff.
That's
member,
what
a
he's
staff
talking
person
about
for
right
open
there.
Space, environmental issues, ensure staff have resources to carry out their duties. We talked about having somebody that whose job it is to do stuff like that.
So
So, I mean,
We-
I think that for the most part, for us to get to try to achieve any of these other goals, that's almost has to be the first step in this. Not saying, Maureen, give us that, I'm just saying, you have enough to do, and I know that there's been times saying that, we need a staff person for other environmental kind of issues and things, and that's how I took that one, is to adequately staff departments. And assigning staff, for open space specifically.
So our department has grown, and I think that you will find you have some more support. I'm losing two of the commission, not losing, but I'm no longer the lead staff person for zoning board of appeals and won't be in short order for historic district. So I chose to, have my new support staff go to those two commissions for me to continue with Conservation Commission. But Alexa is by my side, what my goal is with the new department staff is that we can all go to any of the 4 commissions that we oversee, that we can all, all of us can have met you, can handle it, can run a meeting, although, we all won't be as well versed on each other's items as, the lead person, but I'll be the lead most of the time for Conservation Commission with Alexa, who has a larger or a stronger background in GIS and mapping. I have the old fashioned mapping I can do quite easily. But she has more GIS experience. I have that certificate too, but not this practical experience. And just that coordination, just having somebody else that can be in contact with New England Geo, that can be in contact with what needs to be done and getting emails across. You can't, we have to look at the fact that there might be attrition with some of the other people who've been very, very supportive of the Conservation Commission and the work and making sure things get done. We have Jim is priceless. But I do think that as the town grows, conservation planner or an environmental planner is not something that's out of reach, although in the immediate future, I don't see there being support for adding to the staff yet again. We divided what was the assistant town planner and zoning enforcement officer as one position into 2 positions. And I suspect we're gonna get feedback to work with that for a while before we ask for yet another planner. But we can try, we can keep trying, and particularly over the next the life of a plan of conservation and development, 10-year life of the plan. I think that could be.
well, we thank you for
Yeah.
staying with us.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you. I think you know what, they're all great. They really, Alexa and Polly know how to get stuff done, so it's good to be able to have support.
Good. Just a note on that second one, we're listed as a partner for invasive problems. We're not looked at as being that. As a matter of fact, there's a project going on right now that I found out through the other meeting. So nobody let us know, but it's to, deal with aquatic weeds in Silver Lake,
What's his name?
which is an invasive project. So currently, we're not in the loop and so far, moving forward with this plan, we're not in the loop, but.
We're trying, no, that's the front area that the town was trying to get, where the schools were. Sorry.
Yeah. So, and then the other thing, the next one, I think is something that falls within ours, except for the part about considered tax incentives. and Stuff that's out of our purview. And then, the last one, that conduct a public campaign to reduce litter and pollution and, at some point, we're probably gonna have to go back to some kind of, public notification on things, or consider some kind of publication requires that go out.
Flyers a long time ago.
Yeah. And I think with a lot of these things that are on here, that's gotta be how we can, we're gonna have to start being able to do it. It's gonna be through website notifications, and maybe, if we're gonna, go out to people about conservation easements, we're gonna need to know who's got them now. And that's, and things like that. So we're gonna need the support
Map's
on
coming
that.
up. Well, I shared that map, the map at one of the last meetings. The
And now-
conservation area map. I queued it up.
No, the easements, remember, that's a.
Yeah, we have the ones that are designated
all
because
over the
we've been working on the identifying the conservation land in general. And then, that's kind of that next step. And I think we've started that step as
Well, a lot
well.
of that's already
but-
layer on it.
Right, but the layer needed to be
Easements are different.
fixed,
Yeah.
yeah, but even the ownership layer, those that are town-owned lands that are conservation restricted and those that aren't that was the first step of checking those that they were properly identified, because they all weren't.
Conservation easement, is that in the town owns it, you want to think about that.
Right,
Their property,
Mhm. Yes.
Where the sheds go.
Yes, I know. It's a nice area.
I think last month, was it this commission that I brought the list of the violations we've been dealing with? We had
Guy, this
5 that were,
list looks familiar, like it's similar to the, one from the 10.
Oh, it's got,
Funny.
I think there are some regrets and yeah, there's a lot of things.
and some things
Think
are
so.
ongoing.
Hmm?
Some things are ongoing as
Yeah.
well, where
So-
you wouldn't want them all.
I don't wanna take up too much on this, but, everybody's, if you just sent them back out, right?
It just said, yeah,
So,
Thank you.
you got it.
I'd like to,
You got it? The email, I sent you back the email. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't look.
I'd like people to, like,
Yes, got it.
be ready for next meeting, so that when we do have our April meeting on P O C D. That I can say, here are the ones that we wanna try to tackle, that we feel are we agree are high priority. Or can we think they're high priority, whether they were identified as high priority or not, and the things that we'd like to try to tackle over the next 12 months or whatever.
Can you send them to me ahead of time and write it down to the agenda?
Oh, yeah,
Just tell me which one.
no, as far as the,
Just the whole package, I think,
yeah, the whole
right?
package.
So are
Oh,
they
for
scanned
each one?
copies of your things here?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
we want to, okay.
Did you say that you were gonna add a couple to each meeting?
Oh, no, I was just saying that adding time on the agenda for,
For all of them?
no, yeah, for, to talk
POPD
about, for
discussion.
the
Oh.
general discussion, yeah.
I'm
because
sorry it fell off this agenda.
Yeah.
That was my oversight of the,
One of the next ones on the other page is, improved stewardship of forest and, town owned open space. And it says seek assistance from the university program for forest management and invasive species control. That's
What
a
page
little-
is that one
that's-
on?
That's a little, that's on 120.
That's a lot.
That's a little bit, we're the primary on that, but I mean, that's something that the town's gonna have to. You know, I don't know if that's necessarily like a freebie that any place is gonna do.
So it's like
Or-
a college, this also made for the.
Yeah, like UConn or,
Yeah, I think what they're, probably you're talking about is sort of sponsor, right?
right,
Yeah, but I'm not sure you're really gonna get a lot of detailed planning for that.
right, so I mean. I. I don't know. We can't really get that one accomplished without some other assistance, I think, for that.
Yeah, and I'm guessing the invasive species control plan exists. It's probably the same that they publish for every
Yeah,
town.
yeah. So I don't know if that's more of a town council or town manager.
I think the way that probably works is if you would get like a detailed forest management plan developed for, say, the parcels that we have forest land on,
Mhm.
then any proposal to, you know, I mean, and part of that plan would be to address the invasive species, especially if you're proposing to do something. I mean, whether it's the, you know, cut over the area for the timber value and firewood, just to remove, bedded down trees.
And then while we're here, 121, just because maybe it's the way I'm interpreting this, but. Once again, you know, you said that the. Town staff hasn't really been identified as much, and a lot of these are things that. Jim has taken the lead on. And we can't really. We can't really do them without him.
as I said, I think anytime a commission is listed on here, it was with the assumption that. And not any commission, because there are commissions that that don't have a town liaison. But any of the commissions that have town liaisons, I think there is was an expectation all along that their department staff would be helping to facilitate and
Well,
go along, however, that, I, also think that there's, the hope that the experts, of the expertise of commission members would also help facilitate, you know, and get things done, and if and when there's, work committees or, you know, that kind of just roll up your sleeves kind of work sessions that need to be done by each of the commissions, that those would also be done. But again, with the staff liaison, of course, you know, kind of coordinating and providing support through their departments.
Yeah.
So I think that
'cause I mean,
is
these are all-
universally,
Because these are all things that essentially that we can't do. On our own, and all we would be giving is some advice. To these. And not really achieving the goal. On our own, you know, I mean,
That's right.
but I mean, we can't work with. New Britain Water Department to relocate a portion of the former Wigwam Road right away. You know, I mean, that's not gonna come from.
well,
from
that,
anything that we're doing here.
however, that
That's
that
not gonna
was
happen
done.
anytime.
I know,
Well,
but I'm saying,
yeah,
so.
a good
other
portion
than-
of it's
other
done.
than support and saying that we think it makes sense. But to actually achieve these kind of things, these are all out of our.
I think it should be flip-flopped really.
Should be
That's all.
flip-flopped.
Yes, agreed.
What page is this? I'm sorry.
This is 121.
Okay, it's off my screen. Thank you.
So it's those kind of things, just I think there's a lot of things to, that fall, as you look at the rest, and they're split up a little bit here or there with the things, but, there's one near the end that says identify properties that may be appropriate for new uses or additional protection. It's listed as a medium priority. I actually think that as a commission, that should be one of our highest priorities. I'd love to be able to be given the okay to look at parcels and come up with, you know, what ones do we really need to protect? And it's more like what we did 10, 15 years ago.
Different.
Yeah. So to me, that's something that. our
What page is that
expertise-
one on?
That one's on 135. So it's undertake a complete inventory of town property. So, that's not to me, a medium priority. That's if we're gonna protect properties or have an idea about it. You've gotta know. You gotta know them and have things in place before we're looking at proposals for what's gonna happen on the property. So I think that kind of stuff is really more in our realm and where we're capable of doing some of that. And looking at connections between other, parcels and see what we might be able to propose for connecting open space property. Right, right. But, I think that those kind of things are things that are higher. There's one other page on 122 that, has a couple of these that I don't necessarily disagree with. I mean, they're probably holdovers.
What was it, 122?
122, but, about site improvements to open space properties to ensure proper stewardship of those properties and improve access by the public. And one of them is, for the open space and water department use of Woodlawn Road parcel. I don't look at that as even a medium priority
No, we already.
based on what we
passed
looked
on
at,
that,
yeah. And Webster Park, we've looked at that, we've had,
Numerous times.
it's down the road from,
The old street,
the fairgrounds
fairgrounds.
and
Oh,
Route
I know what
9.
we're talking about.
And we
I remember
actually,
not knowing, I asked, where's Webster Park?
we actually.
Oh, next to the
actually-
church, next to the Bethany Church, right?
But it's not.
Accessible.
Yeah,
Wet.
and we
Wet.
actually added a little piece, and we still couldn't get like a bridge across to the property.
Yeah, very wet.
I don't see us, that being something that's gonna
Oh,
be
in
worth
here.
our time compared to these other things that are on the list.
Since we just, they are done.
Not at all.
That was 6.
No.
No.
Just, it's not bad.
I'm looking for it, so.
Some of it create park areas now. But they're more accessible to the public, like new trails,
I think we've been, so staff wise, and I'm trying to think of what departments have been looking at Webster Park again and the feasibility of access.
Yeah.
And
to me,
even if it's acquiring,
the only real
additional
access
land,
is
I-
through the Berlin Fair Lions Club.
I think is that where the, claimed center of the state is as well, is within that park. I thought it was in that park. That's considered East Berlin, I believe.
It's over by Middletown.
Am I not on the right place then?
No, it's not that far away. I just think.
Oh,
it's
okay.
just down-
So I
down
think,
the street
I
a little.
think the last conversation I was in was finding it in that location.
Oh, okay.
So,
My
again,
understanding was
it was a recent,
side.
it was a fairly recent conversation. So, I guess I'd say before you dismiss Webster Park, I'd like to do a little recognizance
Yeah.
on
I
the
mean,
conversations
the-
that I know have been going around, and they may have been at POCV meetings, it may have been at otherwise interdepartmental meetings.
Is there access off of 372?
Not, they won't let us access it off of 372. The fence is there, there's, because you'd have to pull off, though. I mean,
Do
they
you-
have a similar kind of setup and they put a parking lot and stuff. If you're on 66 in Middlefield.
Yeah.
For the hiking trail, there's actually now, that used to
That's
just
a-
be a little pull off.
And now it's a
Now it's a
full blown lot.
Long lot, right?
lot. I don't know, they'd have to cut into that hill.
Do you know the last time, that that this commission or the town pursued Webster Park?
We didn't really go all that far on it because we were told that you can't. That 372 was not.
You know how long ago
There
that
was
might
some-
have been though, you know, like I said, there's this
It was some
change of
property
guard,
owner
like
or
you
something
said.
A while back, and Jim was trying to get a little right of way or an easement, now it's a
Right.
bridge part.
And we tried to put I thought we actually had a scout project in there for a bridge and then it just didn't ever work out. It didn't, it was too wet.
It's too wet, and I don't think it was.
And that was it
Access.
says a narrow little strip. For access off of the other side street.
It's a challenging place.
And the only other access really is the Lions Club. In fact, that's probably,
That's, that. That'll probably be, there's some kind of deal there.
but you know,
Fun.
they want
Club.
that place up too, so, you know. You're talking about. Was the last time. We ended up telling somebody that you couldn't go in, you wanted to
Right,
collect,
yeah.
No, not-
deer antlers. from the
Isn't
property.
it here?
No,
No?
further north. Another town.
That's Mill Street. Isn't it off
That's
Mill
the street
Street?
Right there?
That's
Oh,
Mill Street. I thought it was, maybe it's,
where's
Yeah, so it's,
my computer's a little too sensitive.
it's right there to the north.
So this is Beckley Road.
Yeah.
Here's Mill Street, here's Berlin Street.
Yeah. On the Fairways.
Right there. That big one right there.
That's Webster Park.
The land trust owns
The land
on the
trust has to give
Berlin
us-
Turnpike. The town owns over here on this
Right, that
corner
was the one that they, and we still couldn't get.
from Beckley Road. And then here we
look at
have,
That again, I guess.
that's the parcel itself. I know it pops up on it. I'm sorry, so you guys can't really see it, but
Right, so.
it's
no,
this and the
and
town
that,
owns this. Did the
right.
town always own that?
No, that was something that they acquired.
Yeah, so I wonder if, you know,
Yeah,
maybe when it
and
was
we
looked
still-
at,
and
did
we
we not
still
have that?
weren't Able to really get access. Jim was part of that too.
Yeah,
And who owns this? Oh, that's private, looks like.
Because I think that was
I know
part of probably when the land trust got the other parcel. My guess is that was probably all one thing, and we snagged that to have a front on the street.
'97. 1997, the town
So that was
acquired
one.
it, the little one.
anyway, that's That's gonna be a challenge. And it's very wet back there, so.
Webster Park itself is longer ago than
Yeah.
I can see.
But even coming in from the fairground, you know, it's like we still have that. We still have the stream there too.
Stream doesn't show up. You know, it stops here.
So anyway, those are, I'd say, we spent a lot of time that, take a look. See if what you agree with, what you don't, and maybe, you know. A handful of ones that you think would be the ones that we need to try to tackle. But to make it a goal for this upcoming time. And so,
All right, yeah, we'll keep an ongoing item there, so.
yeah.
So-
And we can talk about, and out, you know, with these other meetings. We're not necessarily gonna spend a huge amount of time with each of the commissions, you know, but you get to say what ultimately, we're gonna be talking about what you think we can accomplish. So I wanna be prepared for that when that time comes. We've talked about a number of big issues up till now. More about housing, zoning, farm is on the agenda for April, I guess.
So we actually also got a application in this afternoon, with regard to chickens, a text amendment to allow chickens on parcels. Up to 12,
But not roosters.
no, it's specifically prohibits
So is
roosters.
it? to
We
change
just
the
got it
time
today.
frames?
To add a provision that allows for chickens on residential properties,
On any
up to
size.
12 I can't remember the wording she used. I think it was a family of chickens. I
Any
think that's the
size.
way it was said.
We have like chickens,
Oh,
yeah.
I
yeah, that's
think,
pretty old.
again, I'd have to read
Yeah.
but the way it was, I came in this afternoon. We read it, we were trying to figure out, and really it was contact back with the applicant
Friend
for
parcel?
better answer. It said residential, I think all residential. I'm not sure if it had a minimum lot size. I don't know that it did.
That's the guy that owns that property on Kensington.
I'm not sure.
Can you hear the one that's behind our neighborhood, the rooster all day?
Really?
The Carol's have had them, but the donkeys make more.
Oh,
I think they
no,
only
I
have one.
1 point. Behind the library? I believe so.
I know, but they use them both get going sometimes.
I don't know
but
that I knew about it.
Yeah, any other time I've seen
They don't get reported.
proposals and stuff like that. Would
People aren't
tell you how
allowed.
many animals, that's what Helen tried to do.
Yeah.
For
Right.
what size property you
For the-
had or
She
what the
went-
zoning,
She kept coming back and back and back.
cause she
Ton of
was,
times, she was like.
yeah,
worried about
people
it.
were really pressing. her.
Yeah.
They were for a while, and then, once the zoning regulations were changed with regard to agricultural uses in what, we had a consultant that helped us work on it, and it was really focused on the existing larger farms having other options to
Yeah.
help them. And my understanding was that some of those entities that were very concerned with the small animals being allowed on smaller parcels would be coming in with proposals, and people for a long time would come in and yell that they couldn't have chickens or yell that their neighbor has chickens,
Yeah,
and then they would go away.
I mean, I'm not a
But
big
this is
proponent
the
of
first
that.
time in all those years that somebody's actually written something and come in. They've been
Because the same guy was.
Told that
talking
every year and
They have to
Oh.
be closed in a fence.
Like,
I hope so.
yeah. it'll be-
I don't know. I didn't, like I said, it was a letter.
Or somebody else's
Compost
dog
is the
eats
worst
them, then-
thing that we ever
Who's
had,
that?
leaf composting in our neighborhood.
Cause it's not so bad, right?
Yeah, and he didn't take care of it right, and every time he turned it, it would just,
I'm not
you know,
against it. I
and-
just-
He was so mad that he couldn't.
Should have.
do it, Remember?
Best practices.
and it was, that's the worst thing for a residential neighborhood. If you have something like that, and chickens or other bigger animals can be a problem too.
Oh, yeah.
Really good.
Water acre lots and stuff.
Well, that's why I asked whether there should be in a fenced in yard too, because otherwise they'll.
So I
I'll
do
go
miss
to where
the,
my dog is.
I do miss
My
the
dogs were
geese,
picking
they're
up
big.
and
Oh,
going
yeah,
around
that's
and
Used to be there
They're
on
bird
Orchard
dogs.
and Colgate.
So.
Lunch.
They
Once
just
they
used to
really
roam.
go around
That's
neighborhood.
the dog got run over.
All right. Thank-
So-
any-
Did not know.
Thanks, Guy. Any-
Yeah.
Anything else?
Get there.
Any garden information?
No, the garden is rapidly filling up. I'm sorry I didn't get a summary from Caitlin before she left as to how many applications we have. I do know that Carol, the garden coordinator, was in the office the other day. I was headed out to a different meeting, so the girls, the others in the office were chatting and talking to her. It's probably included her application, or going through the applications that we had, and substantially gardeners that have been participated in the past is what we've seen coming in. Not the phone calls through, and I don't know if people had heard that Fran had retired, and so, well, I'm not gonna talk to Fran, I don't wanna bother to call, but it doesn't seem like we got a lot of calls. When, like we did in the last several years, but
They just
I
like-
kind of think they like to talk to Fran and make sure they were in the scoop and,
Would you make a note also, you were gonna check on, have Steve check on the sign and see if it could be rehabbed in any place? In the shed for the winter.
oh, right, the Hathaway Brook sign, yeah. Private sign. Here, and that actually reminds me, I do have one other thing to share. So Steve is always working. So let me see.
Oh, Beckley Bar sign.
Yes, so the Beckley Quarry Conservation Area signage is up and looks nice, installed, new posts. We have, the sign, does this have, I'm not sure if this has the QR code or if it's the sticker we have to add. Do you see it?
In the middle, it's in the middle of the, middle of the bottom.
Oh, right here.
Yeah.
Right there, so we have QR codes now, we have stickers for existing signs to put the QR codes up where they aren't already. And posts have been bought for signs that need to be installed, and things are progressing at a nice pace.
This was.
With these
left
guys.
For last year's, this was last year's budget.
This is last year's and this year's, like there's still there's a kind of a constant signage. You guys authorized the purchase as we found we needed to get them and replace them.
Because we had the fiscal year coming up again.
Right, right.
No.
Oh.
So,
So I think the
So we have to
signs
buy
are
a sign.
primarily if I remember correctly, paying the bills. The last year's paid for a lot of the signs. This year,
Mm-hmm.
you paid for a lot of the installation material.
Okay.
But we
provide
wanted to get
signs
those
And then
signs.
slip it,
in.
the map as the area requires.
Yeah, well, actually, no, I mean, even the maps themselves have been substantially done. Because they're done by New England Geo, I think. And then mapped, maybe
That's
then
paper
printed
behind
by him,
the
maybe it is paper, that he's
Oh,
just
of course.
printing them. But it's more the installation, the posts and all that. And the foundation for them, what do you call that? The footing, thank you, is, our grounds department doing those, so.
So that's something moving forward. I think that out of this whole P O C D that we're gonna have to really take a look at what we have online, the maps and you know what, and trying to get as much of that information and current stuff on there and be more of a watchdog over what's.
Again, we
what's
have the
there.
staff now that we actually are working towards controlling more of our website in our department. We lost that bandwidth, for lack of a better word. You know, we had the authorization, but the town clerk took over most of our postings when we didn't have any staff to really manage it now. Our zoning officer, Paul, is doing a pretty good job of keeping up. He's got the ability, as long as we have the time to post things that we need to for day-to-day operations, and has been starting to really get an update with regard to that, so then the public information kind of stuff is coming next, and we're getting there. So we'll work on it but again, the Conservation Commission really needs to, I would like their partnership and lead to tell us when something is not the best information,
Yeah.
because that's not
Yeah.
information, and we don't, and certainly like Carl has a lot of ideas, generally speaking, because he uses other towns as well. And I bet most of you do, and some of us don't. So we don't know what's better.
What is our budget?
The budgets were all submitted
Well,
back
at
in the
end of this
fall.
Fiscal year, I mean, June
Right,
30th,
that's
right?
what I'm
So,
saying for next year.
So then we start preparing them by October. We get the mandate from the town
Okay.
manager in September, October. I think we start having to turn things in.
Because.
pretty much a repeat of every year.
Right, but I think we're gonna have to make, I see a argument about it, a bigger budget. Because we've been lucky enough where we've had the money to use for the signage and stuff out of, for public outreach. You look at that plan, and if we're gonna try to get a hold of, landowners and do some other stuff, we're gonna actually have to have money to do those kind of things under a fixed state.
Yeah, that was your honest budget. Line item.
Yeah, yeah. So if the town wants us to follow through on P O C D, wants us to put in, you know, like what we think we can accomplish, gotta get some support for it, or else, you know, we're not gonna be able to do it.
True.
And it'd be a shame to have to choose between, you know, like a mailing and other kind of things, you know, a cleanup day or something that needs funding, and not being able to keep the quality of the signage and
Yeah.
so, because we've accomplished a lot with that over the last 5 years.
Yeah.
I think it's something that we all should be proud of, the signage is, we've really done a
Yeah,
lot with that.
I agree.
But,
Anecdotally, I'd like to just add, like, my daughter and her crew hikes a lot. Many of her college friends are from Middletown, and a lot of them have gotten apartments in Middletown, Cromwell, that area. And so they hike this whole general area, and they do like coming to Berlin.
Do
You
they?
know, yeah, and then the signs and
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah,
I've heard
yeah.
positive feedback. So
Right,
I
you have
just.
GIS majors or
I
planning
don't think
majors?
they're all
so.
better at it.
Yeah, everybody, they all are.
Wouldn't that be nice?
Anybody else? Any motions?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
Bye.
Thank you, everybody. Thank you.
Yeah.
It is 8:32. Let me.
No, I retired